Hello, true duelists. My name is Craig Fee, and as always, welcome to the New Card Report. That's right, the video I make when there's too many new cards to include in a normal update. Are you familiar with that yet? And would you look at that, folks? Just a little over a week to go before the set releases and Konami finally sees fit to let content creators go out and open the newest set on stream. And thanks to that, we now have the full set list for the upcoming Maze of Memories. Literally, the entire thing. Every card, every rarity, every reprint, every disappointment, and most importantly for this video, every piece of Gate Guardian support. Because we got more than just a retrain, we have an entire small archetype on our hands here, folks. 10 new cards to consider, and let's not waste any more time, let's just jump into it. Up first is Labrynth Saupport, a level 7 machine with 2400 attack and defense, and it serves as not just a retrain of the fusion monster that wasn't a fusion monster that appeared in the anime, but also as an example of the importance of spelling. Because while it is a Labrynth card, it's not a Labyrinth card. You can tell if you're ever confused by the lack of degenerates thirsting over it on Twitter. Awooga! No, this subtle reference to the anime, as I'm going to choose to call it, can be normal summoned without tributing, but doing so it can't attack the turn it is normal summoned. So Chainsaw Insect is safe for another day. That's a deep cut. Its actual card effect is to once per turn place a copy of Kazujin, Suijin, or Sanga of the Thunder from your banished pile or hand or deck face up in your spell and trap zone as a continuous spell. After which, if you also control a Labrynth card, you can then destroy one monster your opponent controls. The effect is solid, and it's also able to summon itself in spite of being level 7. They certainly could have made it worse, let's be real. The artwork looks less like a face though than the original, which is a nitpick to the highest degree. However, I've now pointed it out, and as a YouTuber, am now the smartest and correctest man to have ever lived. And we'll be making a 3-part, 2-hour series detailing what they got wrong with all of these retrains in comparison to their original depictions in the anime. I'm also a liar. They also got a Shadow Ghoul retrain with Shadow Ghoul of the Labrynth. Like the original, it's still got that 1600 and 1300 on the stat line, but it's okay because its purpose is to yeet itself into the graveyard. You don't want to play this thing at all. It can be discarded to add a Labrynth Wall card from your deck to your hand, which for reference is a new field spell or the original level 5 vanilla. So, those are your two options, and whichever one you choose to search will also determine whether or not you stand a chance at winning the duel. Little fun fact for you. It also has a graveyard effect that activates at the start of the damage step if you control a Labrynth Wall card. That is, it will banish itself, or it can banish itself, from the grave to destroy an opponent's attacking monster. A neat bit of disruption on the opponent's turn that's a little reference to the anime? Alright, Konami, I see what you're doing. I see what you've done. These two make up the only new main deck monsters the deck received, but don't you worry, up next is the card you've been waiting for. Gate Guardians Combined is the new level 12 fusion monster with the exact fusion materials that you expect it will have. But you don't have to do the standard fusion summoning shenanigans. No, this took a stab at the new ABC style of support. You just banish the materials from your field or graveyard, or even your hand for this bad boy. It has the quick effects to negate and destroy an opponent's card or effects that would target a card or cards you control, and can do so thrice per turn. That's right, step aside, Mare, or Mare, wherever the fuck you say that seahorse's name. Fuck you, seahorse, there's a new thrice per turner in the game. The last effect only activates if this face-up special summoned card is removed from the field by an opponent's card, and that is to summon a level 11 or lower Gate Guardian monster from your main deck or extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. Yep, it can float into the OG Gate Guardian. And like in all new support fashion for an old card or archetype, this only summons from the deck, which gets to the core of the issue. That makes drawing the original Gate Guardian if you opt to play it the literal worst kind of garnet to see. Still, it can't get into it, so at least they've incorporated it into the deck in some capacity. And they gave us a playable retrain with the same stats. Not too shabby, right? But wait, I hear you say, there are other Gate Guardians that you could summon? You got that right. You probably already know that, because this video is like 2 days late. Shut up. There's 3 of them, motherfucker. That's right.
Oh, baby, a triple!
Ah. Yes, there are 3 Lil Gate Guardian alternatives, serving as the 3 possible fusions you can make by combining only 2 of the 3 pieces for the OG3. Gate Guardian of Thunder and Wind is Gate Guardian if it were designed to be like Joe Rogan, so short that there's not really any legs and it moves itself on its arms. Just a fun fact for you. This fusion of Sangha and Kazejin is slightly more traditional in its contact fusing abilities, banishing the cards you control from the field to summon it. No grave or hand shenanigans for this one. This does mean at least that you can use the spell versions that this deck now makes of the original 3 cards, so you know, the tank is useful in that regard. This has 2500 attack and 2200 defense and is light attribute for whatever that's worth. During the main phase, you can add a spell or trap from your deck to your hand that mentions all 3 of the original pieces specifically and has a hard once per turn clause on it. The other 2 have 2 effects, so this one's meh. Still, it searches, and also it floats if removed from the field by an opponent's card, but only into a banished Sangha or Kazejin, which you can probably predict. It's cute. It's half a Lego man, but it's Gate Guardian, and it searches the spell and trap support, which is at the very least decent. It's not bad. Let's see what the other options do. Gate Guardian of Water and Thunder is Gate Guardian if he had no guts. Yeah, like Spencer from The Walking Dead. Remember that? Me neither. What the fuck happened to that show? More importantly, what does this card do? Well, I'll tell you what it does. Once per chain, it can target an opponent's monster and change, not reduce, that monster's attack to 0. Which at first I was like, okay, so once per chain, you can just declare this 6 times on a new chain every time and just blank the opponent's board? No, this effect is twice per turn, but at least it's once per chain. Why not? Look, it's not a terrible effect, and it also floats into Sangan or Suijin, or Sangan, Sangha, Thunder, or Suijin. So that's something, but like, why is it just slightly better than the original 3's effects? I don't know. It does. I kind of wanted more than just the original monster's effects, but slightly more playable. Maybe that's just me. Either way, it is also weaker than Sangha the Thunder, one of its materials, which is always going to be funny to me. But like I said, it's got no guts and it's some bullshit, and I'm moving on to the next one. That's all I have to say. The last one is Gate Guardian, but with no head.
So no head?
No head. Man's angry about that. No, this fucking 2-mouth having all legs abomination can once per chain negate a spell or trap from the opponent twice per turn. So it's actually pretty solid. You need 3 evenly matched to out this board, you know, with this thing on it. No, it's no other card exists to negate its effects. Don't at me. You need 3 evenly matched. I don't believe in impermanence or anything else. It can't float into its parts, Kazejin or Suijin, of course, and I don't have much else to say. It's not bad going first with this. It's not great, but it's not bad, and it's solid enough to be a pain in the ass, so this one's the best out of the 3 of them in my eyes, but it's also the goofiest, which means I like it even more. Labrynth Shadow Wall is a new field spell with so many effects, and it's almost entirely just references to the anime, which is impressive. While this admittedly cool piece of art on cardboard rests upon your playmat, no monster will be able to attack the turn that they are summoned except for level 5 or higher monsters, because fuck every other monster card in the game apparently. As to why this card is actually playable, it's because it has the same effect as the tank, that it puts a Kazejin, Suijin, or Sangha the Thunder face up in your spell and trap zone as a continuous spell. Oh, and because it can, at the start of the opponent's battle phase, target a monster with 1600 or less attack that the opponent controls and then destroy it. And look, I get it. The anime. That's what the Shadow Ghoul, they punched things before they did things. All I'm saying is 2 of these effects are annoying at best, and the other turbos out the garnets out of your deck, which is solid and playable because of it, but that's it. Like I said though, the artwork's cool, so can't win them all, I suppose. Double Attack Wind and Thunder is a new quick play spell that has an exclamation point for every piece of Gate Guardian depicted in the art. And I guess that references that bullshit part in the anime where they kill Gate Guardian and then its legs just blow up and they're like, you need to kill it 3 times, and it's like, what the fuck is dual monsters? Things just happen. But that's the anime. Either way, this quick play can only be used if you control a Gate Guardian monster and targets a card on the field and destroys it. It can also be banished from your graveyard during your main phase to add a Kazujin, Suijin, or Song of the Thunder from your banished pile or deck to your hand. Notably, the Grave effect has a once per turn, but the on-field effect does not. Now, when I first read this card, I felt that its effects probably should have been swapped. Like, why not make the Rhoda the main effect and the Pop the bonus? But then I learned it's because all of their spell and trap have this same effect, so that's why. That's solid. Do you want to make a deck decent, if nothing else? Just slap Rhoda fucking everywhere. It may not do much as a deck, but it will consistently be not doing much duel after duel after duel, and that's a beautiful thing. Riryoku Guardian is a hell of a throwback card to the OG Riryoku. This card can only be used if you have less life points than your opponent, and you'll need to control a Gate Guardian monster. But if you do, you can target a Gate Guardian, have your opponent's life points, and then have your Gate Guardian gain attack equal to the opponent's current life points, which makes it the Riryoku effect that was used in the anime. Oh, and also, again, you can banish it to Rhoda into any of your pieces, so both these effects have the hard once per turn, because Konami are cowards, but that's probably for the best, because if you could use 3 in 1 turn, at the start of the duel, the opponent would have 1,000 life points left, and if you can get the big boy out, it's an easy punch to game. Why not give this deck a janky, inconsistent, and need to play 3 of useless in all except one situation OTK combo? Fuck you. And that's from the bottom of my heart. Still, I don't really have any other joke for this, so we're just gonna ask the simple question of who's getting the best head. Would it be this guy from this Riryoku or the original guy from Riryoku? Comment below which one you think. And last up is the new trap card, Prey of the Jirai Gumo. Yo, that card, that monster was in the anime duel. That's crazy, isn't it, from the anime? I just felt like waiting till the 10th fucking card to make that joke. Either way, this continuous trap can be summoned as a level 5 Earth Insect vanilla monster with that Jirai Gumo stat, kinda, 2100 attack and 500 defense. It will summon itself in its same column as it was set from, and then can pop an opponent's monster in the same column as this card. It also serves as a Rhoda in the graveyard. I just want to know one thing. Why does it have to stay in the same column? Why can't you just make it good instead? Like, is a monster pop so insane that being able to place this in any column just goes too far? Fucking Tirshizu directly into Zone Lock Turbo is all cool, but if the anime reference continuous trap that is like marginally better Regeki Break is playable, no, we can't allow it. Look, I'm just asking, can we make the nostalgia bait decent? No, apparently, certainly not the trap card. All right, look, maybe I'm being a little too harsh here. This, all in all, is not a bad line of support in any capacity. It's not good. It's not going to be a tiered threat as far as I'm concerned, but it's certainly far from unplayable. It isn't fantastic at setting up a board, but it makes a Gate Guardian piece playable, which is almost insane to think about. Do you remember the last time people tried to play the Gate Guardian pieces? Wasn't it Gate Guardian Pendulum in like 2014? You shouldn't remember that. I shouldn't remember. That was terrible. And that was the last time people considered them. So to go from Gate Guardian Pendulum into this means that we are leagues above the bullshit that people have tried to do independently. Sure, it only protects from targeting, The middle fusions are a touch weak, all of them being less attack than Sangha of the Thunder for some reason. Like, couldn't give them like 2800 attack. This deck's attack levels go from, oh fuck, a 2700 beater, I can't, all the way to, if it isn't Boral Sword or Access Code, I'm killing it in battle. Which, it's two very weird extremes for me, I don't know. I also feel that it references the anime to a fault. Only level 5 and higher monsters can attack the turn they're summoned is apparently what occurred in the show, but let's not pretend that that's what was so cool about the show. No, what would have been cool is a retrain of Wall Shadow to make it marginally playable. Maybe give it a mini Catastor effect or something. Maybe that's just me though. At the very least it does target, you know, non-leveled monsters with its effect. Not target in the Yu-Gi-Oh sense, but if the monster isn't level 5 or higher, it can't attack, so that will include Xyz and Lynx as far as I understand it. In positive terms, we've got a playable series of Gate Guardian support cards that make plays that lead to an end goal that multiple references in the anime are included for. Now, that's not for everyone, but there are a ton of people who are going to play it for exactly that reason, and they're going to love that shit. I do like that they kind of borrowed some things from other decks to make it more playable too. The ABC style of summoning the boss monster. The monsters are spells, just like in Crystal Beast, to make your cards more playable. And your standard discard to search the field spell. Plus, these are all cheap as hell from what I've been seeing in pre-order prices. Tier 0 Games, not a sponsor, had the entire core of this deck going for like 20 bucks USD. If you can get your hands on that, and that included reprints of the 3 pieces to summon the big boy and Gate Guardian himself. So if nothing else, this is set to be a solid, fun, and low-tiered like locals kind of deck, which is more than Red Eye's ever got. So I'll keep my mouth shut because it's better to have this sort of thing. Yeah, it could be better, could be worse, but at least it ain't wasted potential. You know what else isn't wasted potential though? The sponsor of today's video. Shoutouts as always to the LIFD Magnetic Display, the best way to display your favorite cards in a safe and secure way. And the only way to support my channel outside of comments and views for whatever that's worth. This is the best way to say, hey, look at this, eh? And then point to it. And then people will hear you say A and be like, what are you, fucking Canadian? And then that's a whole debacle in and of itself. Anyways, if you want to support me or just get this discount, you can use my promo code YGOStrats15, or you can click the link in the description to have it apply at checkout. Thanks as always to LIFD for the sponsor, and thank you, Mr. Viewer, or Madam Viewer, or however you choose to be, for watching. And so that'll wrap up today's new card report. That's it. Just covering the new cards in today's video. The regular update will be out on Friday as usual. As always, I've been your host, Craig Fee, and make sure you subscribe to YGO Strats for next week's update to impress your smoking Italian wife, and so you too can be a true duelist.